Alright, this is the Federation of Global Merchants, and this is the last article for today. Maybe for this week, but I'm not sure. I think I'll upload some more here. But, yeah, this is regarding the new tariffs that Trump has put in. And we're going to read an article here from the Washington Post. And this is from the 9th. But it's very relevant to what's going on. It says Trump has decided to impose tariffs on $200 billion in Chinese goods in dramatic escalation of trade battle. And if you remember, he put some tariffs in I think earlier this month or last month, I think, and he said he'd do it again, and this is pretty much it. So it says President Trump decided to impose tariffs on $200 billion in Chinese goods. Two people briefed on the decision said one of the most severe economic restrictions ever imposed by a U.S. president. An announcement is expected to come within days, the people said, speaking on the condition of the autonomy because they weren't authorized to discuss the internal plans. The new tariffs would apply to more than 1,000 products, including refrigerators, air conditioners, furniture, televisions, and toys. Now, I don't know about the air conditioners or furniture or anything like that, but the toys would definitely have an impact because a lot of people, as you know, import toys to sell on Amazon and eBay and all these places. So that's going to have a major impact on people that like to drop ship and sell, smaller sellers online. But it says these penalties could drive up the cost on a range of products ahead of the holiday shopping season. And though it's unclear how much. So, yeah, that's also correct. And he did it, seems like he did it right towards when that, the season, the demand is starting to pick up just a little bit. It picks up usually around like October, whatever, but he's laying it in early. And so we'll see in a few months to see how the impact is really affected, small sellers. But since Apple said recently its Apple Watch, AirPods, Mac Mini, and a variety of chargers and adapters will be caught in a trade war. Our concern with these tariffs is that the U.S. will be the hardest hit and will result in lower U.S. growth and competitiveness and higher prices for U.S. consumers. The company said that in a letter to the U.S. Trade Representative, the burden of the proposed tariffs will fall much more heavily on U.S. than on China. And I really don't agree with that because, the Chinese make most of our products. And these tariffs are going to affect them job-wise. So, I'm not really for sure about that. But we'll see. Trump has ordered aides to set the tariffs at 10%, likely leading to higher prices for American customers. These tariffs are paid by U.S. companies that import the products. They often pass the cost along to U.S. consumers in the form of higher prices. The U.S. imports roughly $500 billion in Chinese goods each year, and combined with existing tariffs, these new penalties will cover half of all goods sent to the U.S. from China each year. The 10% tariff scaled back from Trump's initial plan to impose 25% penalties on imports. But import will still like to be felt by American customers. A White House spokesman didn't immediately respond to the request. Comment on Saturday afternoon. On Friday, White House spokeswoman Lindsay Walters said, the president has been clear that he and his administration will continue to take action to address China's unfair trade practices. We encourage China to address the long-standing concerns raised by the United States. Trump's top advisors have been united behind his efforts to push China to change its economic policies, but they have been split on his tactics. Some have advocated a more cautious diplomatic approach, but Trump has signaled he believes only a threat of real economic pain will push China into major changes, which he's correct in that analysis, at least in my opinion. We've tried this before on in the diplomatic, as far as like countries like Iran and North Korea and all these other countries. It seems like every time we try to do the diplomatic approach, it just stalls things out. Where if you have something like sanctions or really hard-hitting sanctions, it tends to have more of a impact, and it's causing pain on our side too. Not to mention in a lot of areas, but it tends to get more of a response from the other country. He's right in that. Okay, and it goes on to say he recently boasted that he believes China's economy is suffering because of his hard, challenging style, and it is suffering. If prices rise, then demand falls, and then that affects their jobs, their investments, and a whole lot of other stuff. And I think he's right for doing it because they have been stealing a lot of our intellectual property. It goes on to say Trump has accused China of a number of unfair trade practices. He wants China to buy more American goods, open up China to more U.S. investments, instilling intellectual property, among other things. And these tariffs are a good way of doing that, getting them to come to the table, I guess you could say. Chinese leaders have vowed to retaliate to any escalation of the trade battle with punitive steps of their own. Trump's move could further push Beijing to retaliate. The decision was first reported by the Wall Street Journal. Trump has tried to use tariffs to penalize a number of countries this year, including Mexico, Japan, Canada, members of the European Union, hoping that the threat of driving up costs on the products will make them open to his demands, a tactic which has had mixed success. Well, he's probably going to go further with it, I think. And I think there's other ways of putting pressure on these countries too. But as you know, in this country we're getting screwed. So I don't know. I really don't like the thought of higher prices, especially when I go to the store. But we have to protect our own industries. So, and I'm a free market person, but I do understand. Countries have to protect their industries, and of course, there's probably other ways of doing that. But we'll see how this goes on. Trump it goes on to say that Trump first imposed tariffs on roughly $500 billion in Chinese goods this summer. The list of products mostly included industrial equipment to avoid directly impacting customers. China responded by imposing tariffs on U.S. goods like beef and soybeans as a response that spooked the U.S. agricultural industry and angered Trump and other White House officials. Trump responded this summer by ordering his advisors to come up with a list of $200 billion in other Chinese goods to penalize a package of product that includes many consumer products. 2 weeks ago, he said he was preparing a third package of penalties that he said would be $260 billion in additional goods A list likely encompasses all remaining produced goods in China. Wow. Let's see here. You got the 200 billion, then we got another 265 billion, then you got the 50 billion. So that's pretty much all goods, coming from China. So I don't know how. Well, we'll see how it works, I guess. But for the near term, this combination of tactics seems to signal the useless and unless and until China comes to the table with significant actions on issues the U.S. is hammering, the U.S. will keep tariff pressure ongoing, said Clary Reid, a former U.S. trade negotiator. Talks without actions won't do the trick. An open question, of course, is how much action is enough, and can China find a way to move that will be seen being on its own interests, not knowing to the U.S. The U.S. ran a $233 billion goods deficit trade with China, according to the first 7 months of the year, an 8% increase compared to the same period of 2017. Corporate executives increasingly believe the trade negotiating dispute can only be resolved by direct talks between Trump and I guess that's the leader of China. The two leaders may see each other at the United Nations General Assembly in New York later this month and are scheduled to meet on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Buenos Aires in November. And I'm just going to read, there's over 3,000 comments, and I'm going to try to read some of them if I can, without having to log in here. Hang on for just a minute. Oh boy. Yeah, that's the situation that we're in right now. So I think a lot of people importing, exporting that sell mainly a good chunk of their products are probably going to be hurt by this. 10% doesn't, 10% awfully doesn't sound like a lot. But, well, I think for the major sellers, people that do large volume, that's a lot, of course. But the majority of people are kind of small and they import things from China. But now if you choose to raise it by 25%, that would have more of an impact. But it's something that I'll keep an eye on. And I know you guys don't usually have time to look on the web for things like this. They just, either that or announced in the news or whatever. So this is something that I'm interested in right now because I do import products and I do sell on, Craigslist, Amazon, and OfferUp and all kinds of places. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I try to get another article here, maybe in relation to what's going on. But I did mention earlier about Jack Ma of Alibaba retiring, and I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know if it's because of this trade war, but that does say a lot, knowing that there's more penalties that are going to be put upon Chinese goods, and you have Jack Ma retiring. So and of course there's a drop off in there was a steep decline in it said it was like 20%. I don't know if it was Alibaba sales that went down by 20% or the stock price, but I'm pretty sure it's in direct relation to what's going on in the White House. So I keep you guys